yeah, the power that he possesses, but it's not a thumping power, it's that explosive speed, that explosive power, the footwork he gets in position, and all of a sudden he's landed 3, 4, 5 shots and then he's angled off. A lot like I did in my fight against Lopez.
Inoue have very fast. Yeah, it's a compensation. It's a very strong guy.
Brings out a big crowd, doesn't he? He's an absolute superstar in world boxing, and this was another exquisite performance.
Joe Rogan gives his reaction to Naoya Inoue's matchup with Alan Picasso, describing Inoue as an exceptional figure in the sport. Rogan is particularly impressed by Inoue's quick footwork and the way he can seamlessly enter and exit striking range. He also points to the Japanese fighter's extraordinary power for his weight class, emphasizing how effectively Inoue blends speed, accuracy, and physical strength. In Rogan's assessment, that combination of attributes is extremely rare among elite fighters.
I was so excited. Yeah, he's a legend of the sport.
He is a legend, and he's such an unusual guy. You know what's crazy about him is his calves.
Yeah,
when you look
massive.
At that.
When Alexander Usyk is asked to assess Naoya Inoue's performance against Alan Picasso, his reaction reflects genuine admiration for the Japanese champion. After taking a moment, Usyk smiles and compliments Inoue's speed and composure inside the ring. He makes it clear that he likes what he sees from Inoue, particularly the fighter's ability to move and respond so quickly. Usyk also points out that Inoue possesses remarkable strength despite competing in the lighter weight divisions. In his view, the combination of power, quickness, and balance makes Inoue a dangerous opponent at virtually any moment. Usyk's comments underline the level of respect Inoue receives from other elite fighters who recognize his exceptional abilities.
Alexander Usyk. Alexander, you're watching another pound-for-pound fight in Inoue. Have you been impressed with his performance so far?
Yeah, I like this is show Nagatani fight great with Mexican guy Inoue. I happy.
What do you think Inoue needs to do to get the stoppage?
I not think about this. I just watch fight. Maybe Inoue next fight going up. Maybe, I don't know. I think it's normally. Because, Inoue have very fast. Yeah, it's a compensation.
The boxing community reacted strongly to Naoya Inoue's dominant showing against Alan Picasso, with social media filling up with clips, reactions, and technical breakdowns. Many of those discussions focused on Inoue's relentless approach and his ability to dictate the action across every phase of the contest. Boxing analyst Henry offered a more technical assessment of what happened inside the ring. He noticed that Picasso frequently fought behind a high guard, keeping his gloves elevated to shield his chin and showing a disciplined defensive structure. However, Henry also identified a vulnerability in Picasso's positioning. With his elbows sitting too far toward the front, openings appeared around the body, and Inoue was quick to recognize and exploit them. Inoue's lead hand work, accuracy, and speed allowed him to attack the body effectively while keeping Picasso uncertain about what was coming next. The difference in punching power was also difficult to overlook. Inoue's shots appeared to carry significantly more impact, while Picasso struggled to produce the same level of force. Henry ultimately emphasized that Inoue's ability to combine precise offense with strong defensive awareness allowed him to maintain control throughout the contest. That balance, he argued, is a major reason Inoue remains one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing.
Men get into the ring, the first thing that I noticed straight away was Picasso was carrying an incredibly high guard, defensively keeping his gloves very, very high, trying to protect his chin. And one thing I'll say in general about Picasso in this fight is that his defensive awareness was very, very impressive. He very rarely dropped his hands after he threw a shot. His discipline was incredibly good. But the problem with that is that sometimes it leaves a lack of room for creativity with fighters. Yes, it's important to be defensively disciplined, but if you continue to give the same look over and over again, you're never ever going to beat a guy like Inoue. The first thing I said at the beginning of my live about this guy was I looked at him and I went, his elbows are incredibly flared. You know, he had the high guard, but his elbows was very, very far forwards, which instantly made me think he's giving the body to Inoue. He's offering it to him. Now that can sometimes be done because it's to create counter-punching opportunities, but in this instance, I think it was just that he was so concerned about protecting his head, about not getting knocked out with a shot to the head, that the body was there all night for Inoue, and Inoue took it. He took the invitation and he constantly stabbed to the body of Picasso. And in fact, I'd say that this fight kind of was a story of the body shots in many ways. Picasso, like Inoue, had most of his success to the body. The left hook in particular was a money shot for Picasso, but the difference between these two men was so obvious to see when they were standing in the pocket and they were exchanging left hooks in particular to the body. The impact of Inoue's shots was totally different from Picasso's. It was like Picasso had cushions, pillows inside his gloves, and Inoue had a bloody egg weight. It was damaging, it was vicious, and Picasso simply couldn't hang in the pocket for long periods of time with Inoue. I mentioned the lead hand of Inoue there to the body, but the lead hand of Inoue in general in this fight was incredible to see. I mean, the sharpness, the speed on it, the different levels that he throws it from. It's unbelievably unpredictable and difficult to read as a shot, and it allows him to control fights. One thing that I've noticed about Inoue, having watched him for a little while now, and something I think he definitely does on purpose, is he lowers himself to the level of what's in front of him at times, because he wants you to open up so he can counter you and land large shots on you, ones that you don't see coming, so that he can knock you out. He's good enough to be able to do that and keep himself safe at the same time. What was testament to this was Inoue's movement is exquisite, it's exceptional. There were moments when he was using that jab that I just mentioned, dancing around the ring, using that lateral movement, popping the head of Picasso regularly, easily landing on him with that jab. I mean, Picasso was forced to keep a high guard at all times because the power of Inoue is so good that even when he's in motion, he will hurt you. But the testament to this idea that Inoue will lower himself to what's in front of him is that there was moments where
Mike Tyson has also expressed tremendous admiration for Naoya Inoue, describing him as an exceptionally dangerous fighter. Tyson points to Inoue's combination of speed, strength, and accuracy, arguing that the Japanese star possesses qualities that stand out even among championship-level fighters. He has even gone as far as comparing Inoue favorably with Manny Pacquiao during Pacquiao's prime. According to Tyson's assessment, Inoue's punching power, movement, and understanding of the ring separate him from many fighters in his weight class. Such praise reflects the level of recognition Inoue has earned from one of boxing's most iconic champions.
This young fighter called the Monster. You ever hear Monster?
No.
Japanese fighter called Monster. This Monster.
Crazy dude.
He's a mean son of a. Oh yeah, you'll see this bad mouth. Don't look like money. He's better than Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was doing like that. Just as good.
He looks like a fucking pop star.
Oh, wait till he get on these.
The most efficient hunting machine in all of boxing.
He's vicious. That's a bad guy he beat too. Broke him down. Ooh.
118?
Yeah.
Who the hell fights in that division?
Bantamweights.
Yeah, but who?
Pauli Malignaggi recently discussed what could be ahead for Naoya Inoue after his fight with Alan Picasso. While examining Inoue's performance, Malignaggi emphasized just how thoroughly Inoue controlled the contest and considered what a future matchup against someone like Nakatani could look like. He believes an opponent such as Nakatani would have to take Inoue's punching power extremely seriously. Malignaggi also noted that Inoue went the full 12 rounds against Picasso, making the possibility of another long-distance fight against Nakatani particularly intriguing. To him, that would further showcase Inoue's conditioning and ability to maintain his level throughout an entire contest. Malignaggi also noticed that Inoue appeared to use his right hand somewhat cautiously at times. He suggested there could have been a minor physical issue behind that, although nothing was officially established. Even with that observation, Inoue remained firmly in control and earned a clear victory. Malignaggi's overall assessment is that Inoue remains an exceptionally difficult fighter to solve, thanks to the combination of speed, punching power, and ring intelligence that makes him such a dangerous and unpredictable champion.
I was picking Nakatani or Inoue yet. I really hadn't made up my mind who would win between them. I thought it was a good fight anyway. I don't think it's an easy fight to pick, but I do think that I do think that it's a completely different style. You're going to see Inoue fight with Nakatani than you did Hernandez today. You know, I thought Nakatani did a solid job of, again, getting off those good punches, hard punches. It was just he couldn't get the respect, and that's something that will lead you to think something's going into the Inoue fight. But remember, Inoue does get hurt. Inoue has been down at this weight class, so you land those hard shots, clean hard shots like that on Inoue. I think he's gonna have to respect that power of Nakatani more so than Hernandez did today. Now, Naoya Inoue took on David Picasso in another surprising result in that this one also went the distance. Can you imagine Nakatani and Inoue both going the distance? Would have been crazy odds if you're a gambler. But Inoue won the fight going away. I don't know. He didn't get asked the question in the post-fight interview, but to me it seemed like Inoue's right hand may have been bothering him. Again, just assuming here because we didn't get any confirmation. It's not like the post-fight interview or the broadcast ever actually brought out something that was obvious, which was that Inoue was actually not throwing his right hand many times when he could have. Was going left hand heavy. Even when he had Picasso up against the ropes a lot of times, he didn't throw the right hand or barely throw a right hand. So I'm not quite sure that just my assumption, but I'm not quite sure that Inoue he had not heard, at least heard or tweaked his right hand in this fight. And that might be why David Picasso was able to go the distance. But also Picasso did some crafty, clever things, made himself a moving target even when he was standing still. A lot of up and down rotational movement, hip and up and down change of level movement when he was up against the ropes, and when he was in front of Inoue. So Inoue couldn't get to him too clean. When he got stuck against the ropes, also he made himself a small target by staying low. He would change the level by going up and then back down. Just things that, weren't giving Inoue any threat to lose the fight, but they were giving Inoue problems as far as tracking him down and getting to him cleanly. Inoue was going to
The Ring magazine shared a mid-fight statistic on X showing that Naoya Inoue had landed roughly twice as many punches as Alan Picasso after 6 rounds, with the figures listed at 170 to 85. The CompuBox numbers illustrated just how much control Inoue had established through his accuracy, activity, and sustained pressure. Analyst Liam Goff also highlighted Inoue's status as one of the most dangerous fighters competing today. He pointed out that Inoue had reached a notable stage in his career by going 12 rounds in consecutive fights, demonstrating his ability to maintain his performance deep into contests. Goff praised Inoue's offensive arsenal, particularly the way he combined speed, precision, and power. Even though Picasso entered the bout with confidence and determination, Inoue's technical ability and strategic execution allowed him to control the action. Goff also praised the event's presentation in Saudi Arabia. He highlighted the atmosphere and the use of traditional music during the breaks, describing the overall production as a refreshing change from the standard format often seen at Western boxing events. In Goff's assessment, both Inoue's performance and the event itself demonstrated the increasingly high standard of modern boxing, while further reinforcing Inoue's reputation as an elite-level fighter.
Back 12 rounds, as in 12-round decisions. Apparently that's never, and judging by how formidable he is offensively and how good he is, it's easy to see why, if that is in fact the case. This fight right here, Alan Picasso came in confident, and you could see it in his approach to the ring. Inoue stoic, and I did like, it was different. The way when you're going to the minute rest and they normally just play whatever. They were playing kind of samurai music, like Japanese, and I quite liked it. It was quite nice actually. And you're listening to that and you're thinking, actually, I'd rather listen to this than listen to, some of the crap that they play, on most shows in the UK and US during the 1 minute rests. I quite enjoyed it. The whole show as a whole, I enjoy it. I liked the setting. It was actually I really enjoyed it actually. I have to say, I really did. It's a really good show. More of them, please. I really like the Asian kind of team in Saudi Arabia. With this fight itself, right? So, first round starts, Inoue tends to, he can be a quick starter at times, and we've seen that. We certainly have in first rounds and stuff like that, but not a crazy amount of first round stoppages. If I think off the top of my head, he stopped, I can't remember the guy's name, in a round. I remember that was in the World Boxing Super Series a couple of years ago, many years ago now. But he's not really one for going out there and just blasting you out in a round. He might hurt, he might drop you in the first round, but he normally carries you at least into the second or third round at least. And he was not really doing much in the first round, Naoya Inoue. But straight off the bat, you could see that Picasso, he did the high guard, and kept the high guard. He tried to punch with Inoue, which is something that you can actually do. It's very risky, because Inoue will also punch with you, and Inoue's hand speed, foot speed.
Naoya Inoue currently sits atop the super bantamweight division as the undisputed champion, holding the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO titles. His 2025 campaign was particularly successful. Inoue competed 4 times and came away victorious in every appearance, successfully maintaining his undisputed championship status throughout the year. He opened the year by stopping Yi Jun Kim, then followed that performance with a TKO victory over Ramon Cardenas. Inoue later defeated Murodjan Akhmadaliyev by unanimous decision before closing out the run with another dominant victory over Alan Picasso. That sequence of wins demonstrates the combination of speed, power, accuracy, and technical ability that has kept Inoue at the top of the division and among boxing's leading pound-for-pound fighters.
Inoue dominates Alan Picasso, wins every single round, and he defends his undisputed super bantamweight title 4 times in 2025. And this is just a very sharp clinic from Inoue. Using that jab really well to maintain distance, set up his combinations. He's landing that thudding left hook to the body, doing some really good body work. He's landing right hooks up top, 3-4 punch combinations. And Picasso, he didn't really have much of an answer. You know, occasionally he'd land a jab with a straight right hand, but for the most part, Inoue was just running through him. And Inoue has a great argument to end the year as the new pound-for-pound #1. You know, now that Crawford retired, it's either him or Usyk, but Usyk is no longer undisputed, only had 1 fight this year, whereas Inoue, he had 4 undisputed fights, and he's steamrolling the competition. And with this win, and Nakatani also winning, it seems like we're gonna get Naoya Inoue versus Junta Nakatani next, May 3rd in the Tokyo Dome. You know, this fight is already agreed, and Inoue said the Japanese fans can expect a big spectacle. And Nakatani, he didn't have the best performance today, you know, got pushed to a big test, whereas Inoue, he looked very dominant. So I think it's safe to say that Inoue will probably win the fight at this point. But still, this will be the biggest.
A user named Diego praised Naoya Inoue's performance on X, calling it a top-level display while also giving Alan Picasso credit for surviving all 12 rounds. The post emphasized Inoue's speed, skill, and constant pressure, while recognizing Picasso's toughness and determination in lasting the distance against such a dangerous opponent. The fight itself presented an interesting contrast between Inoue's explosive offense and Picasso's physical advantages and defensive approach. During the opening stages, Picasso had some success, taking a couple of the first 6 rounds through disciplined movement and calculated positioning. His height and high guard helped reduce the available targets, and he occasionally lowered his stance to make himself even harder to reach. As the contest developed, however, Inoue began to demonstrate the difference in overall ability. He found openings with sharp jabs, accurate left hooks to the body, and a powerful right hand that could work around Picasso's guard. Picasso continued making adjustments and showed considerable durability, but he struggled to match Inoue's combination of speed, accuracy, and power. Inoue gradually took control of the tempo, dictated where exchanges happened, and steadily weakened his opponent's resistance. When the final bell sounded, Inoue's superior execution had produced a clear victory, reinforcing the gap in technical skill, offensive precision, and punching power between the two fighters.
Fight, and I knew that. You know, Picasso is not on that level. Picasso does not have the punching power to really trouble Inoue. And on top of that, Picasso, you know, what was kind of crazy about Picasso was like early on in the fight, he started out pretty good. I gave him like 2 rounds early in the fight. Like I gave him 2 of the first 6 rounds. But as the fight wore on, he fought more like a Paul Butler type of fight. Very gun shy, calculated, in the high guard. Just didn't give Inoue a lot to work with. And you know, Inoue will land a lot of jabs. Inoue will land a lot of left hooks to the body. But Inoue had a very hard right hand around the guard. Him and his team looked like they game planned against that right hand. They kind of like, you know what? If you're gonna knock us out or beat us tonight, you're not gonna knock us out with that punch like you done to everyone else. And there were times where Picasso, being the significantly taller guy at 5'8", would be crouching down and getting lower than Inoue, making himself a smaller target. So he was doing some good things here and there, but overall, class tells over time. Inoue was just too quick, too fast, too sharp, and too good, but he just couldn't get the stoppage. So that being said, a lot of people are going to hold it against Inoue because he's held to such a high standard, and I get it. You know, with great power comes great responsibility. But I'm impressed, man. I'm very impressed with Inoue. Just even though I've given him some flack for, you know, fighting some guys I just don't think are on his level this year. You know, to fight 4 times in a calendar year, you know, and defend the undisputed title 4 times in a calendar year, that's unprecedented. And he's the first fighter since Larry Holmes to successfully defend the ring belt 4 times in a calendar year. This is the first time it's happened since 1983. So we saw history, and he out.
Naoya Inoue's explosive offense and punching power have earned widespread praise, particularly considering his current weight class. Still, some analysts believe his biggest challenge could come when he faces naturally larger opponents. Against smaller fighters, Inoue has been able to combine.
For them low weight classes, but when he gets in there with guys that can absorb his punch, like Picasso was absorbing his punches, he was hitting them in the body, combinations, teeing off on them. Inoue is athletic, he's explosive, but his power translates to those little guys. As he moves up in weight, going to 130, not happening. If he goes up to 130 pounds, he's going to lose. He can't deal with those punches. He can't deal. First of all, we've seen him on the canvas multiple times. Second of all, his power is not going to translate with those guys. They're going to absorb his punches. Now what he does have going for him is his hand speed. He's still got that hand speed, and maybe that hand speed will translate. Maybe it'll slow him down. But it just showed me that he's going to always be a great fighter for those low weight classes. He's a super bantamweight champion. But 130 pounds, nah. And he might have trouble with Nakatani. Nakatani is going to absorb his punches, but Nakatani is going to be a way better puncher than David Picasso was tonight. And I think Inoue could be in trouble with him. I still think that he's just so fast, so explosive, so quick, and has a high ring IQ that he still beats Nakatani, but it's going to be a tough fight.
What do you think about Naoya Inoue's future at higher weight classes? Can his speed, power, and technical ability continue to dominate against bigger opponents? Drop your prediction in the comments and let us know who you think should be next for Inoue. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest boxing news, fight analysis, and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.